Get after for 6-8 seconds. Guys, this is what we had to get. This ain't the one we want. You want that
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Laurel Leader Call Sports Show. I'm your host, Jack Fairchilds, alongside Kevan Lindsey and Josh Guru Nichols here as we are getting ready to talk about another exciting action here in the world of high school sports, college football. We've got a ton of action-packed stuff, and you never know what the wild card question might bring your way as well. It could be from anywhere. So we're looking forward to bringing this episode to you guys. And of course, one of the things we love to start off with, we like to recap the action that happened last week. And I think the first game that we're going to recap today is going to be Northeast Jones versus Newton County. Exciting matchup, 15-14. Kevin, I know that you've talked to Coach Milner. None of us were able to be at this game, being a road game, but tell me what you learned after talking to Coach Milner.
I think they finally learned how to close out a game. That's one of the biggest things that talking to Coach Milner that I learned. And not only were they able to close out a game, they were able to come from behind in that contest. From what I understood, it was just a physical game. I know Guru mentioned last week, both coaching staffs know each other really, really well.
Right.
So it's going to be a hard-fought game. Northeast had a tendency to struggle on the road. They were kind of in that mode where they were struggling early. Coach Milner talked about those little things, setting themselves back and stuff like that. That was the issue throughout that game. But, man, they come back and they win that. And just a close game and a tough game. And I think this is a huge momentum booster for the Tigers. You look at Cade Mazingo. He was only 2 of 9 for 40 yards, but one of those completions was for the go-ahead touchdown eventually. I think the biggest thing that I saw was Bryson Dice, a sophomore. He had 10 carries for 154 yards, averaging 15 yards a carry.
Yeah, and he was a guy that wasn't even really on the radar as one of the go-to running backs coming into this year. So, yeah, that was a pretty big surprise to see him put up those kind of numbers. But I think the biggest takeaway, like you said, was – not only were they able to win on the road, but they got down early and they found a way to fight back, fight through adversity, and get out of Newton County with a dub.
I think the biggest thing is the guts it took from Coach Milner to go for two, and go for the win there at the end of the game. Incredible. I mean, it's a game that I think we all wish we could have seen in person, especially to have the coach make that call and say, no, we're going for it. We're going to win this game right here. And they pulled it off. It's incredible. I think it is a character builder for Northeast Jones. I'm excited to see what comes next for those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, the next game that we want to recap is Gulfport 17, Laurel 14. Laurel, of course, falls to 0-3. In this game, Kevin and I both were at this game. Laurel was able to force 5 turnovers, including a 70-plus yard interception return for a touchdown by DeCorey McGruber. I think he had, 2 or 3 turnovers himself that he forced, but it came down to Gulfport running back Cooper Crosby, who just was hard to stop all night. You could kind of see once Laurel wasn't able to score anymore after jumping out to that quick 14-0 lead. You could kind of see that the slow grind was starting, and I think that's kind of what ended up getting him in the end.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know how you did, I know we talked a little bit about it, was they just wore the Laurel defense down. Offense just could not seem to get going. Credit to Gulfport's defense, obviously, but they just never really could seem to get going. One thing that I want to point out to you, and I know I don't want to go off chasing rabbits, but one thing that I noticed, I wish Laurel would have done more of, is I wish Bivens would have ran more.
You and I talked about that from the sideline. So I agree 100%.
Yeah, I wish he would have, obviously you want him to throw the ball around and get it to those playmakers, but there were a few times where he just took off. He scored on the ground for a touchdown, but I felt like there was holes there, and instead he kind of held on the ball and he would roll back and roll out instead of just going forward and getting yardage. And I think that might have sparked him. And I don't want to lay blame on anyone, certainly not a junior quarterback, but I just feel like, maybe the coaching staff just said, hey, look, if your read's not there, just go. Go forward, because it forced it into a field position game. And then you had Gulfport, who, that kid, Cooper Crosby, he was unreal. He was not playing like a 3-star.
No.
You're talking about Bivens. I'm visualizing Garrett Nussmeier at LSU and watching the game against Florida. There were times, he would look 3-4 different receivers off, try to find, and there's a gap 8 yards wide, and it's like, just run. Run. Get what you can get.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know if Bivens was forcing throws or just throwing it away, but that's what Nussmeier's been doing for 2 years. And until he figures that out, and maybe to go along with Bivens at Laurel as well, that's something that's going to keep being detrimental to both of those offenses on the high school level and the collegiate level.
And learn to slide. You don't have to go in and try to truck anyone. Take 4 or 5 yards, slide.
Well, the other thing too, and you and I talked about this on the sideline, Gulfport was dropping back. They were opening up the running lanes, and you can make them have to respect the fact that you're a mobile quarterback if you're willing to take off. He did that, I think, on the opening play of that final drive, and you and I both thought was like, okay, that's going to be the key. If he can do that 2 or 3 times, they're going to have to cheat up, and that's going to open up some of the pass. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the way it ended up playing out, and Gulfport was able to get out of there with a 17. But it's, again, and Coach Ernest said he doesn't like to talk about moral victories, but in many ways, Gulfport's a really good team, and Laurel hung with them. They've been in every game this year, Kevin, and it just, you feel like they're getting close. It's just not happened yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we've switched gears, and Guru, you were at this game. You now have probably the most watched video in the history of the Laurel Leader Call Sports Facebook page in the game-winning touchdown here in this South Jones 38, West Jones 35 game. We're jealous that we weren't able to be, because, first, before you get into recapping the game, tell us about that crowd.
That's what I wrote about my column in Wednesday's edition of the Leader Call. I've been to state championship games, covering local teams that won, covering local teams that lost. I wasn't around for y'all versus us back when Wayne County and West Jones had big television matchups, but in my lifetime of not only playing but covering high school football, that was the most electric environment I've ever been a part of. We live roughly, I don't know, I'm guesstimating 800 to 1,000 yards from the stadium. And when you turn off on our street to Anderson, which is on the visitor side of the reservation, the week prior when South played George County, we go to the game, we leave about 5 minutes before 6. And we turn on Anderson, and there's one truck parked there. For the West Jones game, same time, a week later, halfway down the road, there's cars on both sides parked on the road, and this is at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Both sections, home and visitor side, were full. There had to be close to 1,000 more people on the track, either standing or sitting in their folding chairs out there. It was a great environment. The area that had South Jones down by the scoreboard where they have their tailgating tents set up. That was when we walked into the stadium at a couple minutes after 6. Every tent had 5 to 10 people under it. And I mean, it was the environment itself just played perfectly along with the way that game went. You know, it was back and forth. It was a game of attrition. It was something as the game moved along, as I'm watching, I know that it's coming down to the last possession, one way or the other. You know, it just as easily could have ended with West Jones making a big stop once South got inside their own 15 and going to first down. South is at the 13-yard line. We're under 30 seconds. I'm standing in the there on the towards the right hash, opposite to me, close to the West Jones sideline. I'm on the South Jones sideline and right behind the pylon in the back left corner. And the first play, Colin Flowers, South Jones quarterback, rolls to his right and throws a pass to the right side. And I'm thinking to myself at that time, I was like, if I'm a coach, we just ran that way, but we have all this space here to the left side. I was like, they're coming left. So I just slid about 15, 20 yards down closer towards the goalpost, and I got my phone out, got the video recorder ready, and as soon as Colin claps for the snap, I just hit record, and I mean, magic happened right there in front of the eyes. And I waited until the game went final to send the video to Murph to post on Facebook. Within 18 minutes, it had almost 10,000 views. And I think as of last night, it was kind of died down. I mean, it made it to over 100,000 within about 18 hours of being posted.
Yeah, I checked Sunday morning. It was over 100,000.
Yeah, and as of last night, it was hovering right about 140,000. So, you know, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
Just wait till the Facebook memories hit and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, there's still videos I've taken that just pop up and people reminisce.
But the game itself, you know, Anquan Jackson, running back receiver for South Jones, scored all 5 touchdowns for the Braves. He had a combined over 200 yards rushing and receiving. I mean, he's slowly putting his name in the hat for the Jones County Player of the Year for sure. West Jones quarterback Tootie Lindsey had 3 touchdown passes to wide receiver Chandler Watson, who finished with 130 yards on 6 receptions. But the biggest, for me, the guy that kept West Jones in it was one of your favorite players in the county, Kevin, and that's Caleb Holmes, who rushed for 212 yards on the night and found his way into the end zone twice. That's what led to him being, even in a losing effort. I mean, we don't take into consideration how a player's team does. It's how an individual player does, and that's why Caleb Holmes was this week's Jones County High School Football Player of the Week. And it was just a phenomenal atmosphere, a phenomenal game, and I wish I could have just recorded the whole game and just gone live on Facebook, but, you know, MHSAA kind of frowns upon that. And
Right. Yeah. Again, it was incredible what we saw, what little Kevin and I saw from that game, and just really wish we could have seen a little bit more from the crowd and gotten a feel for that atmosphere, because it felt like it was a game to be jealous that we weren't at, for sure, you know. But I think this also could be that game that helps spark something great for both teams.
yeah, absolutely.
Even when you're on the losing end of a tight game like that, it can help build character for you. So I think that both teams, I think West is more okay losing it. I think South needed that win more than West needed that win.
And that goes to something Coach Corey Reynolds told his players after the game about, you know, at that point they all had a bitter taste in their mouth from losing to pretty much their biggest rival. And he said, keep your mouth closed, keep that bitter taste in your mouth, and remember it every time you step on the field, no matter who the opponent is. Do you want that same taste in your mouth again?
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the previews, I always like to do a quick recap on the big 3 from college football as well. And we'll start, of course, with the shame game for me, which is Mississippi State and Alcorn. Not much to recap there. It went pretty much the way everybody expected. And, you know, Alcorn, didn't they have to reduce the clock.
Yeah, they shortened the game, 10-minute quarters.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even know that was a rule for inside, but I'm grateful for it because Alcorn was grossly outmatched, regardless of my pick last week, which is a promise.
63-0 with a shortened second half. I mean, that's brutal.
Don't worry. I think our publisher who just snuck up here, I think he was pulling for Alcorn too. I don't know if he can
I
still
wasn't
hear
pulling
me.
for Alcorn. I made the promise that I would pick against State until they actually lose a game. And
I was trying to help you out. He snuck up here.
he is a big Alcorn fan, I think.
Yeah, I think he is a huge Alcorn fan.
But yes, I mean, that one was an easy one to talk about. The next one we'll talk about, we'll go to Ole Miss Arkansas game. Tight game. Ole Miss, I still don't know what I believe about that team. They're getting wins. We'll give them credit there, but I mean that was a tight game.
Man, that game was 28-21 at the half, and the way they were rolling and just going back down the field, not playing much defense. I'd text somebody, and I was like, it might have been Murph, and I was like, it looks like this game's going to finish like 62-55 or just something crazy. But then the second half, the defenses showed up, and the offenses kind of laid low, and Ole Miss was able to get the win. But I'm like you, it seems like the further they get into the season, and especially starting next week with LSU coming to Oxford, there's 4 or 5 games on their schedule that if they play the way they have the last 2 weeks against Kentucky and Arkansas, they're going to get clipped a couple of times. And we know, with the current 12-team playoff format, a 10-2 SEC team is most likely going to get an at-large bid into the CFP. But, I can see a scenario where it could very well come down to the Egg Bowl in the season finale for Ole Miss to get to a 10th win if they're not already out of the playoff picture by then.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of it. I was out and about all day Saturday. But yeah, I mean, I was keeping up with the score on the score out. And I thought Ole Miss was just going to roll Arkansas, and it just was not turning out that way. If you had me to pick the Egg Bowl right now,
it's tough.
It is
I don't
tough.
know if I could pick Ole Miss just, cleanly.
Unless State is undefeated going to that game. Right now, I would have to pick Ole Miss just because of my statement, but I don't know that would be a wise pick either. So, I mean, it's interesting for sure. Like I said, you want to believe in them. You want to think that they're good. But I remember last week, I think you said Ole Miss big. I said it was going to be closer than anybody thought, but I thought it was going to be closer more defensively than what it was. So we'll see, And of course, our last of the big three, we've got Southern Miss ending its 14-game FBS losing streak and ending it in impressive fashion. They ended up winning that game pretty convincingly. They had a bend, don't break defense that game. I mean, they were App State was able to drive down the field a couple of times, and USM was able to force turnovers to keep them out of the end zone. So again, a huge win, huge for Coach Huff. It keeps Southern Miss in the conversation for Sun Belt title, or at least winning their division in the Sun Belt. Kevin, you last week said you didn't think Southern Miss was built to blow anybody out. They've done it now.
Yeah.
What do you think this means for Southern Miss? I mean, is this a defining moment for them, or just one of those games where everything went their way?
Well, I mean, it's huge for them. And the first thing is they beat a Division I team. That's that's the first goal,
and a conference team.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I want to go back to it. I think it's twofold in the fact that they handled business against App State really well, and then you look at what Mississippi State did to Southern Miss, and I think it's a good sign for both teams.
Right.
I think it's a good sign for the state of Mississippi that Southern Miss was able to handle business against a conference opponent pretty handily. And then you had Mississippi State, who was able to handle Southern Miss. So yeah, I was glad to be proven wrong on that one. And yeah, I think Southern Miss, they've got to, man, they better hold on to Huff. From what I'm seeing,
he's already on the short list I saw for Virginia Tech. So I mean, who knows if he'll be gone? I hope he stays more than 1 year. But
you can't fault the guy, even if it is just 1 year, to go from. And this is no disrespect to Southern Miss, but we've talked about it pretty much in every episode where we've talked college football. Just the difference between coaching, playing in the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, as opposed to the non-power conferences. I mean, not only that, but honestly, think about how much of a raise he's going to get if he were to leave Southern Miss and go to Blacksburg and coach the Hokies. And then he's playing in the ACC. And with his track record, how he did at Marshall last year, winning the Sun Belt, and now he's coming to Southern Miss, and he's turned them around already. He's already turned them around.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit at this point. I said it last week that it would not surprise me personally if they make it to the Sun Belt Championship game this year, and I stick by that. They're looking better and better by the week, and, that's great for Southern Miss and for Coach Huff, and, you boosters might have to pony up some dough come December.
Let's get into our previews, and we're going to start with Lawrence County at Northeast Jones. Kevin, you're covering that game. Tell us what you're thinking going into this game.
Yeah, again, talking to Coach Milner this week, I done the preview for Wednesday's paper. One thing that he stressed about Lawrence County is ignore their record. They're 0-3, but they played some really quality opponents. Recently just played JDC, and we know who and what JDC is. The big thing that he stressed was that they have to figure out how to contain Lawrence County. He said they have a lot of speed, and Northeast Jones is not a speed team. They are a physical team. So it's really a clash of two different styles. And for Coach Milner, his big thing is, hey, we got to get to the quarterback. We got to stop them. We can't let them get to the outside, because if they get to the outside or if they get over the top on us, then we got problems. So that's the big thing that I'm interested in seeing. Obviously, it's a broken record, but your front seven, that defensive line, Northeast Jones, they have to get to Lawrence County at the point of attack. That's what they have to do. So, yeah, just kind of previewing that. He's still riding that high, or he was, of beating Newton County. But, yeah, so I would expect that kind of clash and of styles, of that physicalness and then the speed. So I'm interested in seeing what happens there.
And yeah, just to kind of piggyback off that, like you said, that speed against strength, basically. Mm-hmm. For Northeast, that to keep speed away, you got to keep that offense on the field as long as you can.
Yeah.
And 3 losses against what Coach Milner told you it was 3 quality opponents. But you got to think Northeast is feeling good after being able to go out on the road, fight through adversity, fight back and get a win. And it should be a heck of a game out in the jungle on Friday.
Yeah.
Our next game that we're going to preview is Laurel at West Harrison. The big question, of course, is where is Laurel at mentally after an 0-3 start? If you talk to Coach Ernest, you get a good feeling that they're okay. They know they've played tough competition going into this season. They know that the competition is going to be tough this weekend because they are facing off against a rusher in Jordan Stapleton who rushed for 2,000 yards last year. He's already got 8 touchdowns on this season.
And almost 600 yards.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough matchup once again for Laurel. They're going on the road. They're going down there and are going to have to figure out some way to stop Stapleton. And it's just, again, it's a tall order for an 0-3 team, but these games could be character builders as we get further along in this season. Kevin, what you saw Laurel last week. What do you think going into this matchup?
I want to see Laurel close the team out. You know, we saw it, I felt like, for 3 quarters when Laurel was in the driver's seat. When they were getting turnovers, whenever they got a lead, you know, I mentioned to you early on in that game, I was like, I'm interested to see what Laurel does with a lead because they just haven't had that in the first couple of games, right? And now we've seen it for a little bit of what happens when they get a lead. Now I want to see Laurel step on someone's throat and close them out. And I think that they're there. I think that, like you said, Coach Ernest knows that they face a tough schedule, but I want to see them close someone out. I want to see them jump up on someone, whether that's defensively with turnovers or if that's offense coming together, getting in sync. I want to see them step on someone's throat and close it out.
100% agree. Guru, do you got anything you want to add to that one or move on?
Well, I think one thing that could kind of be a positive for Laurel this week is, you know, they opened up at West Jones. Then the last 2 weeks they played between the bricks. Now they get to venture outside of Jones County. You know, they travel fairly well, but just, you know, kind of just go down to the coast and try to find their footing early. And like you said, if they're able to get up on West Harrison, let's see you finish them off. And that would be the biggest takeaway for me is, just like Kevin said, if you can get up, put your foot on their throat and finish them off.
Absolutely. Next preview is going to be North Pike at West Jones. This will be, as you mentioned, this is the first opponent that West Jones is going to face that's outside of the county. They've played all the county schools already. Remarkable that they scheduled it that way, that they went ahead and played everybody in the county. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. They're facing an 0-3 team. It's homecoming week. Does that create distractions? Kevin, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think? Again, remember, reminder to everyone, don't pick. We're going to have our picks later in the game. But what do you think about this? Is this a trap game facing an 0-3 team at home for homecoming week?
Yeah, I think that homecoming week, if you ask any coach, it's just full of distractions. And kids are kids, man. They're enjoying their time. A lot of seniors and whatnot are enjoying their last ride, you know, and so you try to schedule someone, I don't want to say a powder puff, right? But I think North Pike is that team that you want to face on a homecoming week. And I think the bigger thing is you want to face a team after you come off such a tough loss. Like, you played well.
Emotional.
Yeah, an emotional loss. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is I want to see what West Jones does. I want to see how they respond, basically.
Yeah, and you know, when I played at Laurel, I remember playing homecoming against Collins my junior year, and Collins is a team we should have beat by 4 touchdowns, but with all the distractions, like you said, Kevin, is a game that we won 14-7. We played very sloppy. We could have just as easily lost that game. The one thing I will say with Coach Reynolds and his staff there in Soso is I don't think he's going to allow those outside distractions. Now, like you said, kids are kids. They're going to be kids. But for the ones that, you know, your first teamers, your top 22 on each side of the ball, the guys that are, you know, your key contributors, he's going to have those guys locked in, and they're just going to have to make sure that their other teammates are also locked in. And, you know, North Pike's not coming here to lose. North Pike's going to come here and they're going to try to punch West in the mouth and get off to a fast start. And it has the makings of a decent game.
I think it's going to be another fun one. And, of course, our last game, which will be the game of the week when we get to our picks, is going to be Quitman at South Jones. Guru, I know you've covered pretty much most of South Jones games. I believe this is homecoming week for them as well. So, again, the same question about distractions. But on the flip side, they're coming off of an emotional win on top of it. So, Guru, tell us what you're thinking going into this game. How do you preview this one?
Well, guys, Quitman is a team that's 2-1. They run a spread offense. Coach Casey Harrington from South said that they just like to get it out to their playmakers in space and let them use their speed. And that could cause some problems for South Jones, because I saw West Jones last week able to do that when they got guys out in space, like Chandler Watson, the receiver for West Jones. They were able to make plays that way. Quitman is a solid team. Quitman's a playoff contending team. It probably could go 2 or 3 rounds in the playoffs. And just piggybacking off of what Jack said about it being not only homecoming, but how are they as a team coming off that emotional win where you're up so high? I remember Coach Scott Pearson, when he was at West Jones, talk about, sometimes that is one of the hardest things to overcome for coaches and the players as well, because you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. You just beat your biggest rival. You're the only undefeated team in the county. And, it's just homecoming and we're playing Quitman. And that is where you can find a true trap game.
Kevin, you got any thoughts on this particular matchup?
Yeah, I think it's homecoming week for everybody. I think Northeast Jones is homecoming. I think.
I'm not sure on that.
Pretty sure I should pick up our paper and read it. But no, I do. I think it's just the same way. Just kind of the opposite end for West Jones and South Jones, coming off an emotional win, homecoming week. I just it could be a high scoring game. It could be a high scoring game. How's Quitman going to stop the Jackson brothers? And then on the South Jones' side, Caleb was able to run for 200 yards on South Jones' defense. So we know Quitman has some ball players. We know they have some athletes. So be interesting.
I'm looking forward to because, again, South Jones, I think they took a step. But now the question is, can you take that step without taking a step backwards? And it'll be interesting to see. I think Coach Harrington will have them ready. I think they'll be focused. I think they know. And for one, if they can replicate anything similar to the atmosphere they had last week, it may be hard to beat the Braves on the reservation this year, period. Which, before we get to our picks, and I know typically I do the wild card later in this, but I think the wild card kind of relates a little bit to our local schools. And the question that I have is, because again, South Jones has one more game against a county school. It's Laurel coming up later in the season. If South Jones wins that game with Laurel, should the belt make a comeback for the Laurel Leader Calls belt for a county champion? Because they will have played and successfully beaten everyone. Should we bring back the Laurel Leader Call belt? I know Northeast and Laurel don't play, so that's makes it a little bit more difficult. But you do have 2 schools that play everybody in the county in West and South. If South's able to pull off the sweep, what do you guys think? Should the belt make a comeback? I'll start with you, Kevin.
Man, you're asking the guy who didn't create the belt.
That's why I'm saving good for last.
Let me say this. I think all of our county schools should play. I don't know. I don't want to get into details, right? I know we have had conversations on this.
We know the inside scoop.
Northeast Jones and Laurel, I'm just going to call you out. You both need to come sit at the table.
We'll sit there with you.
Yeah, we'll moderate it.
And say, let's play.
Yeah.
I'm looking you dead in the eye. Come to the table and say, let's play.
Can't do it this year, of course.
Right.
Can't do it next year because this is year 1 of 2 years. But for the 27th season, guys, let's get it rolling because, shameless, maybe. But, yeah, I came up with the battle for the belt. But at that time, we had all 4 schools playing each other every year.
And it meant something.
Yes, and it did mean something. And we did have, once Laurel and Northeast couldn't come to terms and quit playing each other around 2015, 16, somewhere in there, we had to modify our rules. And to answer your question, Jack, no. Until we have all 4 teams playing each other, South's already printed up T-shirts claiming they're Jones County champions already. Because regardless if they lose to Laurel, I mean, I have no hands in it. If you want to claim it, claim it. That's on you. I just think right now that doing that might not look so well once that final game of the season rolls around, when you have to face Laurel and you're already claiming the county championship, but you haven't beat all three teams yet. That's just my take on it. But until they're all playing each other, no, I will not claim anybody the Jones County champions, even if South does win that game against Laurel and is 3-0. And that's because of what Kevin said, because Northeast and Laurel don't play. Until we get that back in all four schools. And I'll tell you this maybe will help you out, because we've already discussed it. Northeast, Laurel, y'all start playing again, all four county schools playing each other. We're going bigger than the belt. We've already got something bigger in mind and ready to roll with. We just need you two Tigers and Tornadoes to get on board with us so we can make that happen.
I'll say this. Smith County this year, and I think they actually started it last year, those three schools play one another. That's on our picks later. They're rounding out Raleigh and Mize are rounding out their stuff. For the most part, Jasper County has played their schools. You know, the Stringer Bay Springs rivalry was a big deal, and they actually just brought that back with the Jamboree game, and they're looking to bring that game back. From everything I understand, Stringer even played Silver Bay a couple years ago,
Right.
in a MAIS MHSAA cross division, cross whatever. Now, of course, I don't think that's possible with Silver Bay being 8-man.
I think Stringer would have the advantage.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we see this a lot with counties that have multiple schools. I want to say Quitman and all them. I think they do theirs. They handle their stuff. Bring it back. Bring it back. That Jamboree, I go back to the Jamboree when all four schools were at that Jamboree and how much everyone liked that. Man, imagine you have a double header to open up the season. Wayne County done it a couple years ago when they had Wayne County and Wayne Academy play. Wayne Academy played Silver Bay, and I think Wayne County actually played maybe Warren Central or Vicksburg or someone like that. But they had a double header where they started at 6. We got done late, but it was so fun. Man, imagine having a double header of Northeast Jones South and then Weston Laurel at Jones College.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
And then you finish
lot
up
of
the
fun.
next week. Yeah.
I think the message is clear. If you want to see a trophy of some time return, and West and South, if y'all can help broker it, get Northeast and Laurel back playing each other, and then we'll have something special. I agree with you guys on that. I thought that popped in my head literally this morning when you and I were talking about the upcoming schedules, and just was like, that's something that I think we need to see happen. And if there's anything we can do here at the Leader Call to champion that effort, we're here for it. Now's the time, I think, of the show that people enjoy the most, and that's when we, either make fools of ourselves or become prophets. It's profit or loser here on the Leader Call Sports Show. Well, you are the guru, so you should be the prophet of the group. Let's start with the college games first. We're going to start with number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana. This one's easy for me. Give me the pride of Starkville High and Illinois to win on the road against Indiana. Indiana had a magical season last year. I don't think they're as good as they were, and I really have liked what I've seen out of Luke Atmeyer. Pretty much even before he transferred from Ole Miss, he looked like a solid quarterback. He's proven he's a solid quarterback up there with the Illini. So give me Illinois in this one. Kevin, what's your pick?
So, interesting. Indiana has ties to the Pine Belt. They have a couple of longtime recruiters at Indiana that specifically come to Mississippi to watch players from the Pine Belt. I found that out about a year or so ago. And so there's some interesting Mississippi ties here, not just Illinois. With that said, though, give me Illinois in this one.
Just going off what you said about Luke Altmaier, Starkville High product, playing at Illinois after transferring in from Ole Miss. Illinois was my Cinderella pick to make the college playoffs this year. Not backing down from that. Illinois goes on the road and gets the dub.
Next, we got number 21 Michigan at Nebraska.
Overrated.
Somebody's pulling their pick potentially, but we'll get to Guru here in a second. Michigan, of course, did not look good against Oklahoma. I don't believe in Michigan. I don't necessarily believe in Nebraska, but I think being at home, I'm going to go with Nebraska. I think the Cornhuskers get it done, and they continue to expose what Guru's already said, overrated Michigan once again. Kevin?
Yeah, I know the overrated chants are over there across the table from me, but go Big Blue. I'm a believer in Michigan, and go Big Blue.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
They shouldn't even be ranked right now. Nebraska.
Next, we've got, and I already know where Kevin's going with this one because it features his favorite team, number 22, Auburn, at number 11, Oklahoma. Look, I'm not ready to say I believe in Oklahoma yet, but I like what I've seen out of them so far. I think they've got a young, good quarterback. Give me the Sooners. I think the Sooners protect their home field this weekend, so give me the Sooners.
Well, who's the starting quarterback for Auburn? Anybody know? Does anybody know?
I don't follow Auburn.
You know, Guru?
Bo Nix.
No. It's a former Oklahoma transfer. And
Jackson
Arnold. And I don't know if y'all know, but they walked into Baylor in week 1 and just took it.
They did.
But even though I am a fan of the Tigers, I'm realistic. And it is tough to walk into Oklahoma and win. And Oklahoma is ranked number 11 for a reason. So while the stint in the top 25 was good, it's going to be short-lived. I'm picking Oklahoma in this one.
Shocked, to be totally honest.
I am too. I thought he was going to Auburn.
I did too. Norman is a very tough environment to play in. Alabama learned that the hard way last year. They were 9-2, season finale, and go in there, they win, they're going to the playoff, and they got punched in the mouth and punched right out of the playoffs, and I loved every second of it. I lived in Oklahoma for a while. My son was born in Oklahoma. If Auburn keeps it close, and this is a tight one-score game, I don't think their top 25 live is going to be short because it's only one loss against 3 wins. They might still hang in at 24-25, but at the end of the day, Boomer Sooner, baby.
Now let's get into our state schools. We're going to start with my shame game, Mississippi State hosting Northern Illinois. The same Northern Illinois team that went into South Bend last year and shocked the national runner-up last year. So, yeah, give me Northern Illinois to win and not – oh, yeah, definitely just because, I'm forced to by my proclamation. Yeah, so I'm trying to convince myself, but yeah, my pick's mainly because of what I said before, not because I believe it.
Well, we're 2 days away from this game, and I'm still debating on getting tickets to this game. I know we've talked about that. You're right. Northern Illinois did upset Notre Dame last year. And because I can get tickets for like $40 fifth row in the first deck, I think I'm going to pick Mississippi State in this one.
I think it's a smart pick. I don't think mine
ticket
is smart.
prices kind of tell me what I need to know about this game.
Yeah, they're just trying to get as many fannies in the seat there at Davis Wade Stadium. I'm not even going to waste any more breath on this. Mississippi State, 3 to 4 scores.
This next matchup, it's an intriguing game. Tulane at number 13, Ole Miss. Tulane is one of those programs that you think they might be ready to take a step, and then they just don't take that next step. So, yeah, give me the Rebels at home. I think they're going to be too much for the Green Wave. I can't see them going into Oxford pulling off the upset. Kev, what's your take?
Tulane beat Duke. Duke has ties to Ole Miss. with Eli Manning, but it ain't gonna matter. Ole Miss wins this one.
I already said earlier, Ole Miss hosting LSU next week. They played back-to-back SEC games. All the makings of a trap game here. Tulane, don't sleep on Tulane. Tulane could be. I know South Florida up until last week, when they got just hammered by Miami, was that group of 5 team that people were looking at as making it to the CFP. But Tulane comes in undefeated. I would not be surprised in the least if the Greeny Weenies didn't get beat by 20. Give me the Rebels.
And of course, next week we will have a guest in studio with us to help pick that Ole Miss LSU game, because Guru may have a side bet with our guest and Kelvin Dog Smith next week. So we're looking forward to having a guest picker for the first time on here next week. And we might already know who y'all are going to pick in that game next week, but it's going to be fun, folks. Final college game, Southern Miss at La Tech. This is a kind of rivalry game, considering the fact that there's so much history of these two teams playing each other. Next year, La Tech joins the Sun Belt or returns to the Sun Belt, so it will become a conference rivalry game. I think Southern needs more rivalries, because since the collapse of the original CUSA, where they had Memphis, Tulane, and all of those that were rivalries that people knew, this is probably the closest they've had to a fun rivalry game. Southern, even in years where they weren't supposed to beat La Tech, always seems to find a way against La Tech. Give me the Golden Eagles. I think they're going to win this one as well.
Same. Southern Miss. Even though I'm a little, I don't know, LSU struggled with them a little bit, right?
They did.
Yeah.
Stole my thunder.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think Thunder and Eagles keep on going.
Yeah, I think the Golden Herd goes into Ruston and comes away with a victory. It may not be pretty. I have a sneaky feeling that this is going to be one of those quirky games where it comes down to a missed field goal, a late interception, a stop on 4th downs, maybe a late score. Close game, but, give me the Golden Herd.
All right, guys, we've gotten our college picks out of the way. Now it's time to get into these high school picks. And this first game I put down on here just because it's my old high school. It's our old rivalry. It's probably not going to matter as much to as many of the local listeners, but it's one I wanted to throw out and pick, and that's Warren Central at Vicksburg High. Warren Central has a 36-8 record against Vicksburg High. It's about as one-sided of a rivalry as you can get. Warren Central was one of those teams that a lot of folks had high up on early preseason picks for 6A. Vicksburg's a 5A team. I think because of the rivalry, it'll be a fun, close matchup. It usually is. Give me the Vikings, though. Warren Central holds the way that they usually do, and I think my alma mater takes care of those nasty Gators.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go. You've suffered enough with the whole Mississippi State stuff. I can't go against you here. I'll give you Warren Central.
Yeah, Vikings all the way. They're going to improve that record to 37-8 against the Vicksburg Gators, and that's going to be your final score as well, 37-8 Vikings.
There you go. That would be funny.
It's going to happen. Well, they call me the Guru, Jack.
That's correct. Next, we've got PCS at Seminary. This is going to be interesting game. I really don't know which way to go in this one. I'm going to take Seminary because I think PCS is going to have issues as this season progresses. Give me Seminary.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Seminary. I just can't pick against Mitch Evans. He might have to go to the altar after the game with the Presbyterian Christians because how loud he can get sometimes. But I love Coach Mitch, man. He's a great coach, and I'm going to go with Seminary in this one.
He is. And since you told me I have to point out mistakes, you did miss Collins at McGee there, Jack. So we'll circle back to that one. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with a not so fast, boys. I like them Bobcats. Give me PCS.
Okay. It's got PCS. All right. So Collins at McGee. I'm not sure. Give me Collins. I'm going to go with Collins.
Taking McGee.
Trojans, McGee.
And next we've got Biloxi at Hattiesburg. I've seen Hattiesburg. I'm not overly impressed with Hattiesburg, so I know it's in Hattiesburg, but give me Biloxi.
Well, I know Hattiesburg's coach was probably more excited for this game than he was the Jug game, so I'm sure he's going to get the Tigers up for this one in a historic rivalry. Give me the Tigers.
But the real question is, how much security is he going to have around him on the sideline? That's the biggest question. Go ahead, Goo.
Yeah, that when when that first came to light earlier while we were working on our preview for high school and college football magazine, I just was like, son, you're not in Georgia anymore. I don't care. I don't care if Biloxi's bigger than Laurel. I don't care what you think. I mean, come on, son. It's the Jug game. 104 consecutive years, world wars, COVID, Hurricane Katrina, nothing could stop it. How many times they even played Biloxi? I don't like him. Give me Biloxi.
There you go. Yeah. And you didn't even have to suffer through his insane security request of not being able to walk behind the team, even though you're a member of the media.
There goes the preview for next year.
Next, we've got Neville out of Louisiana at Oak Grove. Give me the Warriors. I'm going with Oak Grove.
Neville Bar, Oak Grove. I don't know anything about Neville. I just know they're undefeated, but I don't know any of the teams they play. So give me the Warriors.
Finally, Oak Grove gets to play at home. It's their first game in Oak Grove.
Is it?
Yeah, played 3 straight on the road. Yep, that was so odd when I looked at that, but yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about Neville. Last year, Neville went 12-2, lost in the semifinals of the state championship to the team that went on to win the championship.
Yeah.
They lost by 1 touchdown in the semis, and Central High School, who won their division, won in the state championship game by like 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
This first home game at Oak Grove. Neville's got to travel from, I believe, the Monroe area over here to South Mississippi. Give me Neville.
Next, we've got Clinton at Petal. Petal's looked pretty good this year. I'm going to show my bias again, being a Warren Central alum. I hate Clinton High School. We'll never pick the Arrows, despite no matter how good they are. So give me Petal in a rout.
Petal got whooped Friday night. That was a surprise. I was listening to Super Talk after, on the way on the route, and that was kind of a surprise. I'm going to take Clinton in this one, although
Boo.
I know. I'm going to take Clinton, but don't overlook that it is at Petal.
Yeah, that's something for, especially when you're traveling hour and a half, give or take, any extended amount of travel time. I think that does play a lot into especially high school matchups. However, give me the Arrows. Give me the Arrows.
That one hurt. Y'all picking Clinton. Come on now.
Hey, I don't pick with my heart. I got to pick with my head. Can be wrong, but I'm not going to be on that one.
Like I will be, because I'm already going to be wrong in the Mississippi State game, so I'm fine being wrong. Simpson Academy, that is Simpson Academy at Wayne Academy, correct? Yeah. Wayne rebuilding, as you told us before. Give me Simpson to win this one.
Yeah, got a couple ties around here. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong because of how things have changed, coaching changes. But I think Coach Terry Underwood, who used to be at Silver Bay, I think he's on that staff. Coach Mangle from Wayne County won Wayne County's last championship. I think he's on that staff too. Like I said, could be completely wrong. Could be fake news over here, but I'm pretty sure they're still both on those staffs. I kind of going to have to lean Simpson Academy on this one. I just, like we've talked about, Wayne Academy is just rebuilding.
I don't care if they're rebuilding or not. They're playing at home. They got Todd Breland. Give me Wayne Academy.
There you go. Next, we've got Philadelphia at Bay Springs. I'm going to keep this one short and simple. I'm going with Bay Springs.
Yes, homecoming. It's homecoming for Bay Springs. They lost a tough one last week. They actually had to flip the schedule from Forest Hill, but yeah, I'm going to take Bay Springs in this one.
Sweep it. Go Bulldogs.
Next, we've got an interesting game here, Salem at Stringer. Salem entering the season had a 49-game losing streak. It was 57 games on the field because apparently they got a COVID forfeit in 2020. They've started this year off 3-0. So have they truly turned the corner? Are they a team that is going to be competitive? They may be the best story in high school football in Mississippi this year. I mean, to end a 49-game losing streak, 57 on the field game losing streak, and start the season at 3-0. But yeah, I think Stringer hands them that first loss. I'm sticking with the Red Devils.
Yeah, Dan Brady's a heartbreaker. He ends his story runs, and he's probably going to start a new one. I'm going to give Stringer the nod over Salem. Shout out to one of the kids, goes to our church. He fractured his ankle last week, Dalton Simpson. So hopefully he gets to have a speedy recovery.
Also point out you missed Wayne County, Georgia County. We'll circle back. Clean sweep, Red Devils.
How do I keep skipping? Probably because it was too close to Wayne Academy, and I just saw Wayne twice and skipped over it. But yeah, let's go to the next one. We got Wayne County at George County, the one that I skipped over. Thank you, Goo, because I do need that help when just trying to go down this list. Give me George. This one's tough because they both struggled this year.
Yeah, they're both 0-3 coming into this one. This one is almost a toss-up.
I'm going to go with the home team because it is a toss-up game. Give me George County.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Wayne County, man. Where I grew up, looked at the stands 10 minutes before kickoff last week, and there was about 100 people, if that, in the stands.
Wow.
It's a long way from the Wayne County I knew. You know what? Just for sentimental reasons, give me Wayne County, and they get back on track over George
I
County.
like it.
I do like that pick, and I'll give you two reasons why. George County came to the reservation 2 weeks ago and got smashed 35-6, running clock in the second half. Wayne County opened up against Northwest Rankin, one of the top 10 teams in the state, with a 14-0 lead. War Eagle, baby.
Gotcha. So next, we've got we're going back to the world of small man football, as we like to call it here, and that's Silva Bay at Benton Academy. I'm gonna keep riding with my homer pick here, and I'm gonna stick with Silva Bay.
No hyphen.
No hyphen.
No hyphen.
That's for you, Gerald. I'm sticking with Silva Bay. No hyphen.
Yeah, give me Silver Bay. I've been wrong on them. Give me Silver Bay. Give me the Saints. Go Saints.
If we had the technology to zoom in here, I got written right out next to it. This is the only game I hadn't circled a winner for. I wrote toss up next to it. Both teams are 2-2. The biggest thing for me is something I said a minute ago is the travel. Silva Bay having to go all the way up. What'd you say? It was about a 4-hour drive to get to Benton Academy.
Yeah.
When I was thinking and I wrote toss up, I told myself I wasn't picking what y'all are going to pick, so I'm going to pick Benton.
Good call. Because that keeps us from the sweep jinx that we have seen from time to time. Next, we've got Heidelberg at Taylorsville. Heidelberg's going to be too tough for Taylorsville. They're struggling this year. I know I've rode with the Tartars a lot this year, and they've burned me. So yeah, give me Heidelberg.
Boy, Heidelberg is going to be popping in Smith County. This is a game that I wrote about in our Jasper County previews. I think Heidelberg rolls over Taylorsville.
I went a little bit further from your preview about this game. Heidelberg has not beaten Taylorsville since 1968. 1968. Now, granted, they didn't play a game from 1971 to 2002. And in the 2000s, Heidelberg is 0-12. Taylorsville's 0-3, yes, but they own the Oilers. How in the world? No, I'm just kidding. The Oilers by 5
Streak
scores.
ends.
Streak's over. Might be a shutout, 50-0.
All right, and our last one before we get into our county schools, we've got Mize at Raleigh. This could be another one that you kind of have to go back and forth on, but I'm going to stick with the home team. Give me Raleigh in this one.
Yeah, Raleigh's clearing this. They're going to be the champions of Smith County. I could see this one being a running clock, not any discredit to Mize, but
Right.
just because of Raleigh. And I hear they've got like a little plaque or something. They got something for them. Whoever wins the Battle of Smith County, we could have that in Jones County, but
Yeah.
we'll sit at the table, y'all.
Yeah, you can go ahead and print Raleigh on that plaque. Give me the lines.
Goodness. Now we get into our county schools. Laurel at West Harrison. As we talked about in the preview, West Harrison undefeated. They have a stud running back who was a 2,000-yard rusher last year, already right at 600 yards rushing this year and 8 touchdowns. Laurel's going to have to figure out a lot of things. Key there is to stopping this guy. I hate to say it, I think it's too tall of a task for the Tornadoes. Being on the road in this type team, give me West Harrison.
Yeah, West Harrison, I think, is the logical pick here. I mean, I watched that kid, the Crosby kid, right? I want to make sure I got his name right. Yeah, Cooper Crosby just absolutely fall forward for 5-6 yards of carry. And West Harrison, I think, has the blueprint to beat Laurel.
Yeah, too much in the running game. Hate to make it a clean sweep, but give me the Hurricanes. West Harrison, semi-big over Laurel.
The next matchup we've got Lawrence County at Northeast Jones. Northeast Jones, of course, coming off of the very close game last week, came down to that 2-point conversion. They return home. It's homecoming. I think Northeast Jones learned something about themselves last week. Give me the Tigers. I think they're going to protect the jungle. I think they get it done. Give me the Tigers.
Tigers are going to roll, and I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here. I'm going to say it. Our Dirty Dozen guy, I think he has a 150-plus yard game.
AJ Pugh.
AJ. He shows out.
Okay, well, that's 3 in a row. Tigers protect the jungle. Lawrence County goes to 0-4.
We're sorry to Northeast Jones if the clean sweep jinx you, but I just feel good about those guys. Our next matchup, North Pike at West Jones. West Jones, again, homecoming, as we talked about as well, coming off of the emotional loss. Because, again, this is a game that they lost that came right down to the wire. How are they going to be prepared? Are they going to be ready for this game? I think they are. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to come out and try to make a statement following last week's loss to South Jones. Give me the Mustangs.
Well, Jack, I know we tried to dramatize this a little bit with the previews and all that, but you're probably going to get done the quickest out of the three of us, so I expect to have the papers ready and organized for me and Guru whenever we get to the post office. The Mustangs roll, and they roll big. It's a running clock. Tootie goes crazy. Caleb goes crazy. Going to be a big one.
Before I get into a pick on this, I'd first like to give a shout out to senior linebacker Hudson Pierce for the Mustangs, who broke his leg last week against South Jones. And also, I want to give a sincere shout out to the South Jones coaches and players. Yesterday, they sent Hudson a signed helmet, South helmet signed by the coaching staff, and then a poster that said something, I believe it said "Get well soon, Hudson," with all the players signing it as well. I mean, that shows that we talked about this before in the beginning, how many great coaches, great kids that are on these teams. And, you know, that's probably the biggest rivalry in all sports in Jones County is West Jones, South Jones. And for them to reach out to their rival school and do something like that, I think that's something that has to be mentioned. And from all of us here at the Leader Call, Hudson, we also wish for a speedy recovery for you.
Amen.
And with that being said, I'm rolling with exactly what Kevin said. Running clock in the second half. West Jones, big.
Now for our game of the week, we've got Quitman at South Jones. Homecoming week again. We mentioned that for the last couple of games. South coming off of an emotional victory, they need to show that after a big win, they don't have a letdown. They're at home. I expect them to have another huge crowd for homecoming. I think the Braves take care of business. I think they win this one. Give me South Jones.
Yeah, if anything is like last week where Heidelberg routed Quitman, I think that this is the same way. Again, if I'm last at the thing, make sure to have the papers organized for me so I can put it in the Mustang and hit eastbound and down and let's go. But no, I'm picking the Braves to take this one pretty easily.
I don't know how easy it's going to be just because of the feeling from Coach Harrington. I think they're kind of concerned with the way Quitman can move the ball. The homecoming distraction's always there. And I mean, there's no way I'm not picking South Jones. And it's not, and folks, we tell you, we're not picking these. We don't know who each other's picking, and we're not picking just to love on our county schools. I mean, we all picked against Laurel. I mean, come on.
And we all want Laurel to win.
Exactly. And we all want South to win. But man, Quitman scares me. But fear the chop. Give me the Braves. Maybe a little bit closer than these experts think.
Well, folks, it's been another fun episode of the Laurel Leader Call Sports Show. We thank you guys so much for watching each and every single week. And if there's anything you guys would like to see us add, share in the comments. Let us know. I'm Jack Fairchilds, and for Kevan Lindsey and Josh Guru Nichols, we'll see you guys again next week.